Hello everybody, today I'm going to share with you my newest addition to my ceiling fan collection. Now yes, that's something different for this channel, usually it's a lot of lighting, but I do have a very small ceiling fan collection. And it's not that I don't like ceiling fans, I actually really do. But I don't really collect them very much, since lighting is the main thing, and the ones that I do like to collect are ones that are special to me in some way. For example, this particular fan here, this is a Emerson heat fan HF-352, if I remember correctly. And it has the fiberglass blades, if I'm not mistaken. They're obviously not the plastic ones. And it has the K55 motor, also if I'm remembering correctly. Anyway, I picked this up a couple weeks ago at a local building reuse center for $20. And when I saw it on their display, they just hang the motor and the blades right next to it. So they're kind of hanging next to each other on chains, and you can kind of walk through them and look at them, which is a really nice way to display the fans and not take up a lot of room. But when I saw this, I knew exactly what it was, and I knew I had to have it. Now, I remember seeing these at buildings when I went on field trips when I was much younger, and I always loved the design of the heat fan. I always wanted to have any of their designed ones, whether it be this one or the one with the switch housing on the bottom. That's obviously a different model number. The ones that have 4 blades. Any size didn't matter to me. I always just wanted to have one, but they were, for some reason, very hard to find for me. I've never seen one in a reuse store before, so like I said, when I saw this, I had to have it. Back to the ceiling fan collection I have. I don't have many of them, probably 7 or 8 or 9 in my collection altogether. And like I said, they all have some type of meaning to me, being interesting or whatnot. So anyway, let's get back to this fan after I took that little diversion there. This is currently hung up here in our spare bedroom, and the reason I decided to hang it up here is because it was the only place that I could find to really hang it temporarily. I just moved the tile out of the ceiling, as you can see, and hang it up. Now, this didn't have the mounting hardware when I got it, so I had to make my own mounting hardware. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. I'm trying to figure out the best way to do this. Let's move this tile over more, if it will allow me to do so. There might be something in the way. I think there's something in the way. But anyway, let me move something off of a stand here so I can get up higher. So, it was missing the little rubber piece that usually goes right here, you know. And so I had to make my own. It came with this bolt. They put a bolt in it because they knew that it obviously had this piece at some point in time. And I put a tube over the bolt, and then some other pieces of tube here on the sides to kind of make a similar, device that would have been on there, the rubber piece, since I didn't have one. Now, I went for a eye bolt for use with mounting it, because I felt that was a little more safe than a hook like it was supposed to have. Plus, with the hose that I had, this is the safest way that I could do it. And I can take it on and off by just loosening the wing nut here and, hooking it down that way because it has a hook itself. It did come with the canopy, which is nice, and I can't push it up all the way because the wires are in the way. Now you can see I have this wired up here with a zip tie so that there's no stress on the connections. For right now, again, very temporary. But yeah, the mounting bracket is missing, but I'm so glad they gave me the canopy, as that's a very nice addition. Somewhere around here is the label. I really hope you can see something on it, because I really can't right now, but I hope you can read anything on it. Yeah, there's the model, HF-352. Sorry it's not focusing, it's a little close for it to do that. And of course you have the motor. Now, like I said, I kind of have a small knowledge on these fans, so correct me if I'm wrong on anything. I'd love to learn more about these Emerson heat fans, as I really do enjoy them. Like I said, I believe this is the K55 motor, and the HF-63, I think is what they are, had a more rounded edges on the sides here. So that's one way you could tell the difference. Again, we have the fiberglass blades, which I always wondered what they were. A local store that we have for farming goods has a whole bunch of the K63 models, I believe, Ford blade, and they all had these blades on them. Now, I really loved them when I was a kid, and they're still there today. They don't get used as often, but I always wondered what the blades were made out of. So it was pretty neat to finally see one of these and touch it and feel what it is. At first I thought it was some type of plastic, but learning more online, it's fiberglass, I believe. So it's very cool, and they're very sturdy blades. You can see they taper off nicely, and there's a lot of support there as well. So yeah. On the bottom here we have the Emerson electric logo. I suppose we could turn it there so you could see it a little bit better. Very nice. So it's overall in very good condition. There's nothing wrong with the bearings. I did check that. They're very quiet. And now, being a fan like this, there's no pull chain on it. It's industrial, so you need to have a control. Or you can just wire it directly and have it go full speed, I suppose. But yeah, I love the design of this. So let's move on down to what I have going on here. So I just have the wire coming up. It's over this pipe just so it can hold it there. And I have it plugged into this contraption that I made. It's, well, not really that weird of a contraption. I basically put here one of these variable speed control switches. So here's what it is. I picked this up at the same place a couple days later because I realized I should probably get a switch for it because that would be nice. This was the only one they had, and it was brand new. I got it for $2. You can see it was originally $9.44 at Menards, quite a long time ago. Anyways, this is the switch that I'm using with it. So there's the front. Let me turn it around, and there's the back. Now I'm going to ask some questions about this because I'm having some problems with this fan, so I hope somebody can help. Here is the instructions, and I'll reference those again here in a second. So I do have a cover for this. It's right here. That would normally be on there. But as you can see, there's an additional, I think it's a low-end speed variable control thing here, which you can use to vary how low of a speed you want the fan to be on low. Now I have it set all the way to low because I really like the aesthetics of a slowly spinning ceiling fan. I think it looks really nice. So I turn this down all the way as low as it goes. When I first got it, it was set about medium, I'd say. I looked on the side of this switch, and there's a sticker. You can't see it, well, you can kind of see the sticker there. And it said what models were compatible with it. Now, I was surprised when I saw on the side that it said Emerson heat fan. Of course, Emerson, HF. But, so this switch, it says on the side of it is compatible with an Emerson heat fan. And it does work with it. So I have one cord coming in from the outlet, and the other one goes out to the fan. But the problem is, I'll turn this on, and then after a while, maybe 20 minutes, the fan stops. It just stalls out, like it's not getting power anymore, and it just stops. It slowly spins its way down as if you were to turn it off, and it just stops. And then I have to come back and turn this up, because I usually have it on a lower speed, and then it'll start spinning again. So then I'll leave it like that, and that's fine. So the other day I did some testing with this. I had the fan run direct from the 120 volt outlet with this other extension cord I have here, just so I could bypass this whole system. And it ran just fine. It never stopped on me. It did full speed all the time. It never stalled out like it did on this thing. So I had it on, I turned this on and put it on low, and it would go for a while, and then it will just stop. It'll just stop after a while and nothing will happen. So then I was like, well, that's kind of odd. So I tried it at different speeds around the dial, because this is variable. You can do any speed you want. And I even tried it on high, the highest speed that this has right after the first click. and I let it go for a while, and I came back and I was surprised. It was stopped again. Now I don't know if it's from overheating in this switch or if it's wired wrong. Now this is where I come back to the wiring of this fan. It says here to take out the switch, obviously, and replace it with this variable speed control. So what that's saying is the switch is usually wired to the two hot lines, the two black wires. Now if you were to take those two black wires, which are both positive, and you replace it with this, then you're replacing it with the positive wires that come in and then out. So it's before it gets to the fan. Now on the side of the switch, on the other side, it says void warranty. You can maybe see it in there. Void warranty if connected to the hot lead. Well, what? On the side here, you get what I'm saying? This says to replace it exactly how the switch was, which is usually wired on the hot. You don't put it on the neutral. That's weird. So I wired it in the hot. So I was like, okay, so that's how it should be according to the instructions, because below, after the warning to not wire it to the hot lead, is follow the instructions. So anyway, right now I have it wired to the hot lead. I did try wiring it to the neutral and having it after it goes through the motor, and that seemed to work too. Now I did not test that in the long run like I did here with the hot lead and it stalling out. So maybe it is supposed to be after it goes through the fan, you know, on the neutral line instead of the hot line. But I am still confused with this thing. I tried doing the variable speed here, seeing if that would make a difference. No, and I do like it on low, so I'm just going to leave it like that. So basically, my question is, should I leave this wired into the hot lead before it gets to the fan, or should it be in the neutral when it comes back from the fan? I'm confused with the instructions and the warning on the side of the switch. Anyway, even though I have these problems with it, it does work for a while until for some reason it decides to stop. Now when it does stop, I decided to check this, and of course the motor is very warm. It's not anything that you would burn your hands on or anything, and I'm thinking that's just because of its design, it gets warm. Because, I mean, that's the bare motor right there. So, enough of me talking about this thing. Let's go ahead and turn it on, because I'm sure we would all like to see this fan turned on. So I believe I have it plugged in. Yep. So I guess we'll start with high. And it gets right up to high. Now you may also notice that it does wobble a tiny bit. And that's because of that mounting bracket, I believe. I don't think it's centered on that eye bolt. But I think the blades might also need to be adjusted slightly as well. This thing moves an amazing amount of air. It really is fantastic. I'm so glad that I have one. So I'm going to turn it all the way to low now. And it slowly slows down to low. Now it doesn't get to a super aesthetic low where, you know, this is about as low as it goes. Sometimes I like it even lower, but this is fine. If you listen closely, you can hear the hum of the motor. Oh, well, there's a perfect example. Did you hear it stop? I have this thing on low. I'm so glad it did this, because now I can show you what's going on. I have it on low, and it just stopped. You don't hear it anymore. And it's going to slow down, so I guess we'll just let it spin down, so we can watch it spin down. And it takes quite a while to stop, so I'm led to believe that the bearings in this fan are A-OK, because it takes quite a while to actually stop. In a way, it kind of goes well with the ceiling, you know, with the wood brown looking pieces and then the 2x2 tiles. It takes a while to spin down. Now, I thought about if it, stopped because it got overheated, but, out of curiosity, once this thing stops, I'll touch the motor. But I don't think it's because of overheating. I think it has something to do with this switch. Because like I said, I had it on, high, and it went just fine when it was plugged in without the switch being in the circuit. And it's still spinning. It just goes and goes. And there, now it stopped. So let me feel it. Oh yeah, it's cold. It's not hot at all. It's not hot. So let me, I'm laying down on the bed here because it's the best way to get a nice angle. Okay, so I have this thing on low right now. So watch what happens when I turn it up. Oh, it went for a little bit. Oh, there it goes. Now what? So there, it's off. So it was on low and it just stopped. I don't know if there's something wrong with the switch, or like I said, if it needs to be wired in the neutral after it comes out of the fan. I'm not too sure, but according to the instructions, it says to just replace it like the normal switch, and then it says to not wire it to the hot. So I'm getting mixed signals from the instructions on the switch. But overall, a fantastic fan, and I'm really glad I have it. I'll turn it off there. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. Like I said, a nice addition to my ceiling fan collection, and I really hope someone, or maybe some of you, can help with my problem, because I'd really love to use this fan, but unfortunately I can't figure out the switch. Anyway, thanks again for watching, and also please comment, rate, and subscribe, and thank you very much for watching.